building muscle, guys, you can do it, but you have to be super consistent. Hey guys, I'm Mark McKillier with Live Anabolic, and today I'm going to tell you what I do to build muscle on a day in and day out basis at the ripe old age of 60. All right, so a fair warning, guys. I'm about to turn 61 in a few weeks, which means I've actually been working out for 41 years now. So please don't just go out and do exactly what I say in this video today. This is for me. It's going to be different for everybody. And I say it's different for everybody because I think I consider myself fairly advanced by now. I've been doing this a long time. But my Fit After 50 program, if you guys have been doing it or even looked into it, you'll notice that it doesn't follow the routine that I'm going to discuss today. And that's because Fit After 50 is not designed for advanced guys that have been lifting weights for decades. However, my Phase 4, which does not come with the regular Fit After 50 program, Phase 4 actually breaks down your weekly workouts almost exactly like I do my weekly workouts right now. So stick around. I got a lot of different things to tell you about, and it's not all about working out, guys. You're going to be surprised. Building muscle, especially as we get older, requires that you do several different things, and you got to be consistent. Otherwise, you're not going to like the results. For simplicity's sake, I've decided I got to figure out how to break all this down, kind of what I do in a typical day. So we're going to break it down into nutrition, exercise, and recovery, because I think those are the three big groups that we need to talk about when it comes to building muscle, especially as we get older. And then at the end, I'll tell you, but just kind of some of the stuff I like to do for fun, my hobbies and things like that. So let's start off with the hardest thing, and it's not the most fun to talk about, but nutrition, guys. Okay, so your food, your daily nutrition is really, really important. So this video is not a video about nutrition. Please, all right, you're in our YouTube channel right now. Use that little search feature, the little magnifying glass. Just type in the word nutrition, okay, and hit enter. And probably 20 videos are going to pop up between Gary and myself where we talk about nutrition, all right? That's a great way, after you watch this video, to get into the more specifics. But guys, just generally speaking, one of the toughest things that I have when it comes to nutrition is getting in enough protein on a daily basis. And I talk about that in detail in those other videos. But you need to shoot for about 0.7 of a gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. Let's say you're a 300-pound man, all right, and your ideal weight is, say, 200 pounds, all right? You take 0.7 of a gram of protein, multiply it by 200 pounds, because that's your ideal body weight, and that comes out to roughly 140 grams of protein per day. Now, that's minimum. Okay, that's on the low side. And when you're just starting to work out, okay, and kind of get into the rhythm, that's fine. But as you get more advanced and you get more serious about really trying to build muscle, you're going to want to up that protein intake. You're going to want to get, 0.8 of a gram per pound, or 0.9, or even 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight. So that's where I have the hardest time. And you want most of that to come via just normal foods, whole foods that you're eating. But that's hard to eat that much. So I rely on protein powders and protein bars to kind of up my daily protein intake. And so that's just the protein. But, that's not talking about, your carbohydrates and fats and all those kind of things. But the nutrition, guys, is really important when it comes to, building muscle, because it's got to be consistent. Okay, so I'm not finished talking about nutrition, all right? That's just the food and protein stuff. All right, so the second thing, guys, while we're here talking about nutrition, let's talk about alcohol. So you've seen a lot of my workout videos right here, okay? So I got my kitchen here, my den's there, and when I'm working out in my den, in the background, you see my bar. I got all this liquor sitting, in my kitchen in the background. And so everybody's thinking, oh, Mark loves to drink. Well, I do, but I don't drink very much. So all that liquor is there just for when my buddies come over and I say, what do you want to drink? And they can say they want a tequila drink or a bourbon drink or a vodka drink. I got them covered. All right. So typically for me, I would say I have 1 to 2 alcoholic drinks per week. Okay. So for you guys that come home and on a regular basis have 2 glasses of wine with your wife, or maybe 3, you are killing your muscle gains. Okay. So what happens is when you drink alcohol, it's not just extra unnecessary calories that your body literally cannot use. It temporarily screws up your body's ability to take that protein that you're eating and use it to rebuild the muscle during the night when you're recovering. So it's called muscle protein synthesis. That whole technique, that whole system that's going on, and alcohol really disrupts that cycle. And so let's say you're killing it at the gym. You know, you're really pushing it hard, high intensity, and you know, you get a little bit stronger after every workout, right? Well, if you're not getting enough protein and you're drinking too much alcohol, then your nutritional deficits or mistakes are limiting the amount of muscle growth. Okay? So why bust your butt, you know, in the gym or at home working out when you're only going to get 50% of the potential benefit out of it because you're screwing up on the nutrition end? And in this case, the alcohol, I'm just kind of lumping that in there with nutrition. So guys, really, really be careful. Don't reward yourself every single night with 2 or 3 glasses of wine just because you made it home after a day of work. Okay, that is not a good enough reason to give yourself an alcoholic drink. Make it a reason. When you're with some friends, it's date night with your wife or your girlfriend. Knock yourself out. Have a couple of drinks, okay? But not every night, all right? Now, we're talking about protein, we've talked about alcohol, and then finally, I want to just mention supplements, just real briefly. And I know I'm biased and I work for a company that sells this stuff, but you guys should at least give it a try. And the reason I say this is because I'm kind of skeptical about a lot of supplements. But I've shot so many videos and had so many emails from guys who've been taking our stuff. And in this case, I'm talking about anabolic reload. All right, this is a testosterone booster. But I've got so many guys saying the same thing I just said, that they're very skeptical. They typically don't take supplements, but they gave it a try and they were just absolutely, you know, super over the top happy about the results. I actually did a Zoom call earlier today with a customer who's in our Facebook group. And he said exactly what I said. I'm very skeptical, Mark. I don't want to do it, but what the hell, you told me to try it. And he did. He started taking the anabolic reload, and then he actually started taking the PM version. We have a nighttime version too. He takes both of them. And he was kind of trying to figure out how to tell me this without being embarrassed. He just said, screw it. Dude, I wake up with wood every morning now. He goes, it's like I was a teenager. I haven't woken up with wood that often. He goes, I don't know. He goes, it just works. I love it. So guys, the other thing is, it doesn't work for everybody. And that's fine. If it doesn't work for you, let us know. We have the best warranty in the business. So we got protein, we got alcohol potential problems, and I think you guys should at least give some supplements a try. Our testosterone booster has got hundreds of great reviews. Just even look on our website, scroll down and just read some of the reviews. And guys, when your testosterone gets boosted, that is one of the most important things you can do to build muscle, because that's exactly what all these bodybuilders are doing. They are injecting themselves with steroids. Those steroids are testosterone. It's synthetic testosterone. So the higher your T levels are, the easier it is to build muscle. And on top of that, it makes it easier to lose fat too. All right, so finally, let's move on to the second major category, and that's the exercise. That's probably what you guys are the most interested in. So this is what I do on a weekly basis to build muscle. I leave the house. I live at home by myself. I need to get the hell out of here. So I like going to the gym, all right? Partially because just got gobs and gobs of equipment, all right? And so when you get more advanced, it really is nice to go someplace where you got tons of different machines to choose from, you know, because I'm doing a pretty serious workout. And then also, I kind of, you know, get energy from everybody else's energy in the gym, all right? I'm not just kind of there by myself. Even though I may be working out by myself, there's kind of stuff going on. So I enjoy that. And this is how I break my workout down. I do one body part a day. So I only focus on one muscle group on Monday, on Tuesday, and Wednesday, and I break my workout. I work out 6 days a week. So that sounds like too much. Mark, when do you get that recovery that you're supposed to, you know, that you're talking to us about? Well, it's because I only hit one muscle group a day, and I don't hit that muscle group for another week. So on Mondays, I do chest. But I don't just do chest, I kill chest. I do tons of different exercises, and I do lots of sets. That's the volume, and I do really high intensity. And when I say high intensity, I mean I take almost every set close to failure. So if I am doing a set where I can probably fail and only just barely get to say 11 reps, I'll stop at 10 reps. You know, I'll stop one before I can't do anymore. And sometimes, some sets, I'll go until I can't do another rep and I stop. Okay. So that really works for me. And by the way, that's what I have you do in my phase 4. Okay. And so I have broken the muscle groups down into 5 major categories. So why the heck do I work out 6 days a week? Does that mean I'm working out one muscle group twice? Not really, sort of. I break my legs into 2 days. I used to do all my lower body in one day, and it would take me an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, and I was just drained. And the last 30, 40 minutes, I was so tired I couldn't put enough intensity. So I do a quad-focused leg workout on Wednesday, and then on Saturday I come back in and I do a hamstring and glute-focused workout. So I'm really only working those muscles once a week, all right? I'm only hitting my quads once a week. I'm only hitting my hamstrings once a week. So I split them up, and that way I can give my legs more attention, partially because, you know, you're spending 4 days on your upper body, all right? And then partially because my legs are a little long for my height. They're a little out of proportion, so I have a little bit shorter torso and a little bit longer legs, so it makes my legs look longer and skinnier, and I don't like that, all right? And then of course, the other reason is, guys, your legs are such a big muscle group, and when you work them, you're almost always doing a compound movement. That really does signals to your brain to ramp up your body's natural production of testosterone. And, you know, harking back to lots of other videos, the higher your T levels are, the more muscle you're going to put on. It's as simple as that. So for me, Monday is chest day. And when I say I hit it hard, I hit it hard. I'll probably do minimum 12 working sets of chest, and I'll probably have 4 warm-up sets. When in reality, if I'm feeling good and have energy, I'll end up doing about 16 to 18 sets of chest. Now that's spread out over probably 4 or 5 different exercises, okay? I do some pressing movements, I do some fly movements, but I'll do 3 or 4 sets on a single exercise with about a minute and a half, 2 minutes rest in between. That's a pretty long rest. And then I'll move to another exercise and hit 3 or 4 sets before I move to another one. So do chest on Monday. Tuesday's back day, same thing, minimum 12 sets on several different exercises. Total 12 sets, all right, not 12 per exercise. Typically, I'll probably be doing closer to 16 sets for back. Wednesday is quad day, leg day, but I'm only doing quads. Thursday is shoulders. Now, shoulder, that's a small muscle group, right? So I'm probably doing 12 sets for shoulders. But while I'm doing shoulders, of course, I'm doing abs, all right? In between every shoulder set, I'll stop and I'll knock out a set of abs. And then Friday is arms. Now, arms is really 2 muscle groups, biceps and triceps, but they're both small. Do them on the same day. I love to superset those things back and forth. And once again, I'll probably do at least 9 sets of biceps and 9 sets of triceps. So that's minimum 18 sets, okay, of arms, all right? but it's split really between two different muscle groups. And then finally, the sixth day, Saturday, I come back in and we'll do legs, but I'll be doing specifically hamstring and glute focused exercise. And then throughout the week, all right, when I'm killing time between sets, and I've talked about this before, guys, I will do some ab exercises, because if you're doing chest, all right, and I might be resting 2 minutes before the next set, all right, I can knock out, some abs. And then in between the next set, I might do some calves. And so I can get a lot accomplished during the rest periods in between all those sets. So anyway, that is how I break down my exercise in a typical week, and I've been doing it for a long time. Okay, so subset under the gym workouts, okay, under the muscle building stuff, and that is cardio. Now, cardio is not building muscle, but cardio does help us burn fat. And the less fat you have, the more muscle it looks like you have. Man, I follow a bunch of young guys that compete, guys that are in their 20s. And during the off season, when they're not, doing a bodybuilding contest, they're big, but they're chunky and they're soft and smooth. And they really don't look all that impressive, all right? And it's kind of like, ooh, it's kind of a weird thing. I need to throw some before and after pictures up here while I'm talking about this. So I'm going to get my editor to do that for me. But when they start getting ready for a contest and they start cutting the extra body fat, huge transformation. And they look bigger. Their muscles look better because you can see the definition. When you got fat, everything's smooth. And you can't see the muscle. It's just covered up by fat. I've talked about that before. So these guys get super lean and they look bigger, when in reality, if you measure their arms flexing, their arms are going to be probably an inch smaller, all right? Or maybe even an inch and a half smaller. Same thing with their legs and their chest, everything. But they look way better when you don't have fat. And that's what cardio is really good for. So what do I do for cardio? It depends on the time of year. So this is how I just like to do it. And cardio is really a personal thing. Everybody has different things they like and hate about cardio. So I don't like running outside when it's cold. My nose starts running. It kind of makes it hard to breathe. Some people love it when it's cold. I don't. So I like to run outside in the summers when it's hot. Now, it doesn't have to be hot, but anyway, as long as it's above about 70 degrees, and in Texas, that's 8 months out of the year, okay? And I don't do lots and lots of long distance cardio. For me, running means a couple of miles, okay? Sometimes for me, running is doing sprints. I might be sprinting up a hill, all right? And I'll just do that repeatedly, and I'll have to rest in between every hill sprint. And in the winter, if it's getting cold outside or rainy and I just, being outside is just not an option, I'll do cardio at the gym. Now, I hate jogging on a treadmill. Some of you guys love it. Knock yourself out, okay? So what I'll do is I'll get on the elliptical, which sounds almost as boring, except I'll ramp up the resistance and I'll do sprints, okay? So I'll sprint really hard for 20 seconds on the elliptical. And then I'll slow down and I'll catch my breath for 40 seconds until the top of the next minute. And then I'll sprint really hard for 20 seconds and then I'll rest for 40 seconds the rest of the minute. I like to break it into even minutes because it's really easy to keep track of, because you always got a clock on those machines, okay? And I might do 15 or 20 of those, all right? I'll get on the rower and do rowing. All right, there's lots of things you can do in the gym that's cardio based and helps you burn off calories. The Stairmaster is another really good example. So you guys, and the stationary bike is a fantastic example. So guys, I'm not a huge cardio guy deal, but it is good for you. And if you're one of the guys that's really trying to lose fat, it's wonderful to add cardio, and I have you guys doing cardio in my Fit After 50 program, and I just kind of sneak it in there subtly. It depends on what phase you're in. All right, here we go. We're getting near the end. Recovery. What do I do for recovery? Well, That's really more important than you think. But guys, rest and sleep. All right. Part of my recovery is the fact that I don't schedule myself my workouts where I have to hit a muscle group more than once a week. I've tried it. Doesn't work for me, doesn't work for most guys. You can do it, and I have you do it in my Fit After 50 program if you don't do high volume, okay? So if you're gonna be working out a muscle group twice a week, you gotta dramatically cut back the intensity and the volume, especially when you're older. When you're younger, you recover much faster. It's not as big a deal. Sleep is another one, guys. Remember, when you're sleeping is when your body produces the majority of your hormones at night. And testosterone is one of those really important hormones. So if you're not sleeping enough, if you're not sleeping well, your hormones are going to be screwed up. And once again, you might be kicking butt, in your workouts, but you won't get the full benefit because your hormone levels are all screwed up. And then another thing that's kind of part of the recovery is, guys, listen to your body. Most people watching right now are not going to have this problem, but you can train so hard for so long, you just wear down. And it happens to me on a semi-regular basis. And it's not necessarily your muscles that are worn down, but it's your central nervous system that can just give out. All right. So I'll go to the gym, and this happens to me. I'll walk in, I'll just go, God dang it. There's just no way. All right. I had plenty of sleep. I'm eating good. I'm just exhausted. Sometimes I'll turn around and go home, and I will think about it, and I'll go, wow, I've gotten actually weaker at the gym. The last few days I'm lifting less weight than I normally do. And then all of a sudden I realize that's my central nervous system. All right, I've been pushing it too hard for too long. I need to take a break. And I'll take a full week off. I won't touch a weight for a week. Now, you can still do cardio, all right, because your body can still recover when you're doing, cardio. But I won't do any weightlifting for a week, sometimes 2 weeks. I know Gary Walker takes a full month off at a time, and I think he might even do that twice a year. And Gary's 11 years younger than me. So guys, listen to your body. That is part of the recovery. Okay, finally, I'm getting to the end of this thing. What do I do for fun? Do you guys really want to know? Guys, all right, so my hobbies now are golf and racing old cars. And not to pat myself on the back, but I'm a pretty decent golfer. So my grandfather started me when I was young, and I've taken tons and tons of lessons. I actually enjoy practicing and going to the range and hitting and practicing for hours at a time. And I was actually good enough that I got down to a 2.0 handicap when I was in my early 50s. So that was about 7 years ago. I'm definitely not there now because I don't play as much or practice much, and I'm not a member of a country club right now. And so that's part of the reason. But yeah, I can hit the golf ball pretty good. And then the other thing is, guys, when I'm playing golf with my buddies, if it's not 100 degrees outside, if the weather's decent, we will walk. All right. Fantastic exercise. Great way to burn off 1,500 calories. Walk 18 holes. That's about 7 miles, guys. And so golf is one of my kind of passions when it comes to sports nowadays, because I don't play basketball anymore. That was what I grew up playing in high school and college. We don't play football and all that kind of stuff. But the race car is a blast. Now, that's not exercise, but that keeps me kind of busy. And I've built 3 cars from the ground up. So I've been vintage road racing for 22 years now. And I started in a 66 Mustang that was just gorgeous. And then I sold it and I built a 1968 Camaro that was gorgeous. I should never have sold that. I should have kept that one. And now for the last, 14 years or so, I've been in a 1971 big block Corvette, and I built it also from the ground up. And when I say ground up, I mean every single nut and bolt. I pulled the fiberglass body completely off the chassis, disassembled the chassis down to the frame, and sandblasted it down to bare metal and put it back together. I built my own wiring harness. Anyway, I've been racing that for a long time, and so I don't race very often. It's amateur racing, but it is competitive and it's serious. So we're wheel-to-wheel racing on road courses. This is not circle track. This is not drag racing. So there might be 20, 30, 40 other race cars on the track with me at the same time. We're all trying to get around that turn. And because I live in Texas, we have the luxury of racing at the Formula One track where the Formula One cars race every single year. It's the exact same track. It's just a bunch of old vintage cars out there instead of, you know, new Formula One cars. And so that's a blast. And because I'm not just racing, I'm actually fixing my broken car, which happens a lot. I have my garage set up with all my tools, and I put an air conditioner in there, and I spend a lot of time in my garage. Okay, so that is my day. Okay, I eat, I exercise, I recover, I play a little bit of on the side, have some fun with the car and the golf thing. And that's basically what I do to build muscle. Okay, so the race car doesn't build a lot of muscle. That just basically burns a lot of money out of my bank account. Maybe I should rethink that one. But building muscle, guys, you can do it, but you have to be super consistent, and you have to do all the little things that I was discussing earlier in this video, because when you're 60, 61, whatever, you can't get away with all the mistakes that we did when we were younger and still build muscle. You got to kind of know what you're doing and stick with it and never give up on yourself.